Good morning, everyone. I welcome you all to another episode of Engineering with Shamil. And today we are going to discuss about the various standards and codes involved in the emergency and exit lighting system. For the last couple of videos, we have been discussing about emergency and exit lighting system, and we have covered this topic briefly in the previous episodes. But today we are going to discuss in detail on how each code matters and what all are there to cover, what all are covered in that particular standard. Okay, so let us start the topic without further ado. But before that, let us refresh what exactly an emergency and exit light is. So emergency and exit light is actually a separately dedicated circuit where in case if there is a mains building failure, then the emergency and exit lights will turn on automatically. Okay, the power supply will be switched from the main supply to the battery power, which is located inside the battery, or sometimes it is a centralized. If it is a centralized system, it will be a separate battery bank. So these lights, they will turn on automatically, and they are served to illuminate the evacuation routes for the occupants to escape safely from the building during the time of emergency. So this is how the emergency and exit lights work. So let's see what exactly are the standards and the codes. But before that, we need to know what is the purpose of having a standard or code in order to design, install, and maintain an emergency or exit light. So what do you mean by a code or a standard? So a code or a standard is actually a set of rules and guidelines that ensures emergency lighting systems are designed, they are installed and maintained properly. So a code or a standard is a set of rules and guidelines that ensures that the emergency lighting systems are designed, installed and maintained properly. So the purpose of having an emergency lighting system is basically to protect the lives by ensuring safe escape routes. Okay, and this can be done by illuminating the routes properly, okay, so that the occupants can evacuate safely. Okay, so this is why we have a set of codes and standards. Now let us see what are the codes and standards that we need to follow when it comes to the emergency and exit lights. So there are three standards that we normally follow. So the first one is the NFPA 101. Now NFPA 101 is a code which is also called as the life safety standard, life safety code, which is published by the NFPA, by the Fire Protection Association named NFPA, which stands for National Fire Protection Association. This association is based in United States of America. Okay, and the main focus of NFPA 101 is on the life safety aspects, so which covers the illumination, the placement of the emergency or exit lights, and the testing of the emergency and exit lights. Okay, so this is what NFPA 101 mainly focuses on. The second set of standard is the IEC standard, which is International Electrotechnical Commission, and this is an international standard. And the code which we follow with respect to the emergency lighting equipment is 60598-2-22. Okay, so the IEC standard, IEC 60598, provides serves as the equipment standards for the emergency luminaires. It will tell you how do we manufacture these emergency luminaires, okay, and what are the rules that needs to be followed. The last one is QCDD, that is Qatar Civil Defense Department. Now, since I am from Qatar, that's why I included the example for Qatar Civil Defense Department. Now, if you are in any other country, that particular country will have a local fire code, okay, and these local regulations are actually the ones which the country will follow, okay, when it comes to the fire regulations. Okay, so we will be discussing about each code in detail in the coming slides. Okay, so let us see what NFPA 101 has to offer for us. Okay, what does it cover when it comes to the emergency and exit lights? So the first point is that it mentions what is the minimum illumination level that needs to be followed along the escape routes. That is number one. The second one is it gives you the idea about the placement of the exit signs and the emergency lights. The third one is it gives you the testing and maintenance requirements. Okay, that is the frequency of how long the testing has to be done, or when the battery battery full capacity needs to be tested. All these details will be provided under NFPA 101. And the last one is it gives you the duration of the emergency light. That is how long an emergency light needs to be operated. Okay, that information is also provided by the NFPA 101. That is a life safety code. Now, So to revise, so we have 4 points. So the first one is it gives you the minimum illumination levels along the escape routes. It talks about the placement of the exit signs and the emergency light. The third one is it gives you the information about the testing and maintenance requirements. And the last one is it gives you the information about the duration of emergency and exit lights. So why does NFPA 101 matter? So NFPA 101 matters for two reasons. So the first one is it is a widely adopted internationally. It is widely adopted internationally. It is a widely accepted standard. The second one is that if you see any local regulations, these regulations are based on NFPA 101. Okay, so these are the two reasons why NFPA 101 is popular, is widely recognized. Okay, that's why it is very important in many countries. The second standard is the IEC standard, that is IEC 60598-2-22. Now, this set of standard is actually covers 3 points. So the first one is it gives you the technical requirements for the emergency lighting fittings. The second point is it gives you the information about the battery performance and the charging systems. And the third one is it gives you the information about the testing and the marking of luminaires. Okay, so these are the three points that are covered in IEC standard, and that is very vital in the installation of the emergency and exit lights. It is to ensure the safety and reliability of the emergency lighting equipment. Now, why does IEC matter? So IEC matters for two reasons. So the first one is it is an international standard for equipment quality when it comes to reliability and safety also. The IEC matters. And the second one is it ensures reliable and safe products globally. So two reasons. So the first reason is it is the international standard for the equipment quality. The second one is it ensures reliable, safe products globally. Okay, that is why we have an IEC standard. Then coming to the third one, it is the QCDD requirements, which is this Qatar Civil Defense Department. And Qatar Civil Defense Department is applicable only in Qatar, as the name suggests. So there are 3 points which is covered in the 3 points with respect to the emergency and exit lighting system. With regards to the with regards to the emergency and exit lighting system, there are 3 points. So the first one is it gives you the local regulations for the buildings, local regulations that needs to be followed in the buildings in Qatar when it comes to the emergency and exit lighting. Okay. The second aspect is it talks about the spacing, placement, and testing rules. Okay. What I remember is that in Qatar Civil Defense, it doesn't mention explicitly about these rules, but it will ask you to refer back to the NFPA 101. Okay. And the last one is it gives the requirements for the approval and certification as well. Okay. So these are 3 points which are covered in the QCDD guidelines. Now, why do QCD matters? So QCD matters because it is mandatory for all the buildings to follow the QCD regulations in Qatar. Okay, and it is required for the building permits. And it is required to obtain. It is mandatory because in order to get the building permit or approval, we need to follow the QCD guidelines and get their certification as well. Then only we can proceed with the building permit and further approvals. So these are two reasons why QCDD is important. So we have discussed three aspects. So first one is we have talked about the NFPA 101. The second one is we have talked about the IEC standard, that is IEC 60598-2-22. And the last one is we have discussed about the Qatar Civil Defense Department standards. Okay, so these are the three codes that we are following when it comes to the emergency and exit lighting system. Now, we have discussed about each point, why does it matter, but let's see the overall picture of why do these codes really matter. So there are 5 reasons that we are discussing. So the first one is the aspect of life safety. The standards matter because it gives you information, it gives you regulations supporting or advocating life safety. Okay, these codes, these rules, they ensure the safe evacuation of the occupants. If you follow them, you can guarantee the safety of the occupants. That is number one, life safety. The second one is consistency. If you are installing or designing any emergency lighting system in one building, the same rules need to be applied in other buildings as well. And this consistency can be achieved only when we follow the rules and standards which are established by these codes. So the second aspect is consistency. The third one is the equipment quality. Now the equipment quality, the reason why we have, the reason is that we cannot depend only on the designing and the installation aspect of the emergency exit light. It can only be achieved. We can only achieve the goal of life safety or the design or the installation requirements only when the equipment is reliable and safely tested. Okay, which safely tested. If the equipment is of good quality, then only we can achieve the life safety. Okay, so that is number three. The fourth point is legal compliance. So if you don't follow these rules and standards, then we are actually under trouble. That is, the building owners, the contractors, and all are under trouble if you're not following the rules and regulations. So it is very essential that in order to get the certificate, we follow the rules and regulations, and it is really mandatory for the building approval. And the fifth point is inspection readiness. So inspection readiness is actually, if we follow the rules and regulations, if we comply with these rules and regulations, then we are ready for doing the inspection, and also subsequently we are ready to get the certification as well. Okay, so these are the 5 reasons why do these standards matter. So the first one is with respect to life safety. The second one is to achieve consistency. The third one is it promotes equipment quality. The fourth one is it promotes the legal compliance. It focuses on legal compliance. The fifth one is it makes you ready for inspection. It demonstrates compliance with the rules and regulations. So to summarize, so NFPA 101, it talks about how to design an emergency exit lighting system for life safety. The IEC 6059-2-22 talks about how to build reliable emergency lights. And the QCDD, Qatar Civil Defense Department, it talks about what is required, what is specifically required when it comes to the emergency and exit lighting system in Qatar. Okay. So these are the set of rules, these are set of the codes and standards that we have discussed. So the key takeaway for this topic is that the codes and the standards, they ensure emergency lighting systems are safe, reliable, and legal. Okay, so there are 3 standards. NFPA 101, it talks about life safety design. IEC 60598-2-22, it talks about the equipment quality. And the QCDD, there is a Qatar Civil Defense Department, or any standard, any fire code that is implemented in your region. Okay, it talks about the local compliance, whether we are complying to the local requirements of the authority having jurisdiction. Okay, so these are the points that we have covered in this video. So I am concluding my video. Thank you for listening. And in case if you have any questions, queries, feedback, or doubts regarding this particular topic, please do share them in this comment section, and I will be happily obliged to respond to your queries. Thank you once again for listening. And before I sign off, I would humbly request all of you to kindly like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Engineering with Shamil, in order to produce more content with regards to engineering. Thank you once again, and I am signing off, wishing you all a good day ahead. Thank you.